Well, welcome to Module 8 of the Preaching course. I'm happy that you're still with me. And we're going to take a look at a few things here. The first one, let me put her up on the screen for you, is how do you deal with nervousness? Now, you should always have butterflies. You are about to walk out and preach the Word of God. That is an awesome, awesome responsibility. And the day that you stop having little butterflies, not a lot, just a little, if you have no butterflies, no concerns, maybe you want to rethink. People are going to listen to you. They're going to sit on every one of your words. Now, what you do with that nervous butterflies is you got to somehow change it into energy for you. You have to have energy in what you're saying. Now, how can I do that? I can do that through emotions pretty easily. I ran into a young preacher 20-some years ago who told me he preached one Sunday a month as the associate of the church, and he always threw up before the worship because he was just so nervous. And when he learned how to take that nervous energy and turn it into energy for his presentation, if you will, for his sermon, he was much better off. And here we are 20 plus years later, and he is a fantastic preacher. He's a fantastic speaker. Nothing really rattles him. So you have to work out your nervousness. Always have the butterflies, but you got to work out the nervousness. Don't let the people see that. Remember, I mentioned the podium and the gripping of the podium. That shows nervousness. It's things like that you wish to avoid. Now, we were taught in school, we took speech class, practice, practice, practice. What should you do? Practice, practice, practice. Whether it's a transcript, an outline, or whatever, practice. Go over it in your head. I start at Thursday with the sermon raring to go. And then I drive home, I practice. I go to sleep. I'll go to sleep sometimes before I sleep, actually practicing. Thinking about what I'm going to say and what I'm going to do. So you look sharp when you get up there. Again, you are preaching the word of the Lord. You got to look your best. You got to sound your best. You got to have emotions. You have to know where to put things. You got to be ready. Illustrations. Be careful with illustrations if you're using personal ones. Starting to talk about your spouse and kids may work, may also backfire. They might not be too thrilled about letting their lives be out in front of people. If you're doing illustrations about yourself, well, if you're embarrassed about something, don't do it. Don't talk about that situation. But people do like illustrations. They do like a personal illustration because it ties them into you emotionally. So if you can put a situation about yourself in, excellent, go for it. But if you're going to start using family members, be careful that nothing you say will embarrass them. And also let them know you're going to say, let them know, oh, I'm going to deal with that blah, 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 when you were blah, 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 oh, blah, blah. And if they don't want you to, then they should tell you, or at least ask them. So be really careful. Where do you find good illustrations? You can find them all over the internet. That's easy. Just Google Bible sermon illustrations. Problem that I have with an illustration off the internet, it's clearly not the speakers. It's coming from somewhere. It is so obvious to me. But if you don't have a personal one, fine. If you could take an illustration off the internet and make it yours, then you can get away with it as a personal experience. Good idea. The next thing I want to mention, and we've done this a little bit before, and we're just going to say it slightly again. Dictation software, I kind of went over that with you. If you want to create a transcript, and that's what you need, dictate it, and then type it or have some software program go through it. And of course, the last thing, which we actually did cover, and I'm only going to say about this much about it, again, is grammar. Perfect grammar tells me you've written it, you've reviewed it, you've run it through the spell check, and you're not talking to me, because nobody talks in perfect grammar. Again, we've covered that before, but there are some graphics in the module in the book, so I wanted to make sure that I said at least something about it. So go to the workbook, fill in the questions that are there, and then I will see you in the next module. God bless.